Yeah, hi Nadeem. This is Michael from Better TOEFL Scores. Let's take a look at the essay that you submitted at my website. It says, your question is, film can tell us a lot about the country in which they were made. What have you learned about a country from watching its movies? Use specific examples and details to support your response. So let's look at it paragraph by paragraph. I'm going to read it first, and then afterward, I'll talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses of your writing. So, introduction. Film is one of the best form of entertainment, and I would say forms instead of form there. Make it plural. Many people in each country like to watch it either at home or in a theater. In a film, we not only watch a story, but also systems, locations, people, behaviors, and their thinking. I think a film tells us a lot about a country, especially its technological and cultural advancement. Good thesis. So you've organized your writing around two key points. So film helps us understand more about the technology and the culture of a country. So nice, specific focus to your ideas. Next paragraph. Whenever we watch the movie, the most important thing in the movie is technology, such as costumes, sound, and visual effects, which show, I would say show here, not shows, which show countries, which shows the advancement of a country's technology. For instance, currently new technology in Hollywood movies is 3D, which is not available in many countries. Many scenes in the movie Saw looks real because of this technology. Even though without 3D technology, many other movies of Hollywood are far superior than the movies of other countries. For example, Titanic, where the reality of how 1,600 people died in a shipwreck in 1916 is shown with the aid of technology approximately 80 years after. We cannot imagine such kind of movie or such... We cannot imagine these kinds of movies in India, China, and Pakistan. All right, so you have a few word choice and grammatical problems and even some problems with sentence structure, but in terms of organization and detail, it's very, very strong. You have a topic statement that goes back to one of the key points in your thesis. You help defend that topic with some really good examples in that paragraph using two different movies. The first movie was Saw, and you talk about how the technology in that movie is good, and you also talk about Titanic. So you have two good specific examples to help support that main idea that you made in that paragraph. So you do have a nicely unified paragraph. Even though you have a lot of problems with grammar and stuff, it is nicely organized. All right, let's go to the next paragraph. Another. It's always good to use a word like another that you put here. That helps us understand the relationship of this paragraph to the previous paragraph. Again, you continue with a nice, coherent organization. It's very easy to see how the ideas in your essay are related to each other. So again, in this paragraph, another most important aspect is the culture in the movie, which represents a culture in a country. There are many Indian movies which represent the culture of the country India. For example, one movie is Mughal-e-Azam, in which, I think you need a verb here, in which it shows how a king, Babar, was ruled in India. This people. Now wait a minute. You got a comma after India. Stop that. You don't want to put two different independent clauses together with a comma. You need to show the TOEFL iBT human raters who read your writing that you understand when one sentence ends and a new sentence begins. That is actually a comma splice. You could use a period after India. You could probably use a semicolon, or maybe even use a connecting word like and. It says this represents the culture of India in the past about 200 years ago. Another example is the movie Sata, is a story. You need to connect here. Another example is the movie Sata, which is a story of a community where poor people have to compete just for basic needs like food and residence. These movies represent specific kinds of people who lived in underdeveloped areas. In another film, Ham Sath Sath Han, which means we are together, in which various religious activities and family relationships had been shown. This film represents a single family and the relations within and outside of the family. All these films represent the culture of different ages in the country India. Therefore, movies are a form of entertainment which represent advancement in the field of technology of that country, as well as movies also show the inter and intra relationships of people in a specific area or a specific era of that country. Okay, so the good news is you definitely understand how to organize, I think, the writing. You structure your writing with a nicely focused two-pronged thesis. You follow that up with 2 body paragraphs, which essentially restate those 2 key points and support those points with very rich, very deep supporting details, extremely strong, better than most students. Grammar, not so good. So you will get knocked down. Your score is going to get knocked down, I think, because of sentence structure. You don't have good control of your sentence structure. When one sentence ends and a new sentence begins, you're also struggling with connectors, using words like which, using who, using that. So you're not exactly sure. I think one of the things you want to work on is adjective clauses, how to use an adjective clause as a dependent clause and connect that idea to the rest of the sentence. So because of some of your grammatical problems, your word choice problems, and you do write with a very, very heavy non-native speaker accent, and what I mean by that is you commonly omit a lot of the endings of nouns. For example, the third person S or the plural S or the ing, maybe the ed sometimes. So you combine that with some of the other problems, and your essay probably will score right now probably 3.0 to 3.5 out of 5 on the TOEFL iBT. So you're probably looking, I don't know, maybe 17 or 18 points approximately out of 30. It's going to be tough for you to get a little higher than that right now. So you definitely need to continue to solve your grammar and your word choice problems before your paper can get higher than what it is right now.